Welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Thank you for joining me. Now, this sorry sack of shit you see right here is Andrew Bailey. He's the Attorney General of Missouri. Now, better known as another fascist republic. Last week, Attorney General Bailey, an Attorney General that is not representative of the people because he's an unelected official, decided that he would basically ban all gender-affirming care. No, not just for children, for everybody. Let's get into why this is. So he has an order that he put out, an emergency rule that he put out that takes effect as of April 27th. That states that you must, if you're a transgender adult, you must go through 18 months of treatment with a psychologist, which could be cost prohibitive for some people, right? And we don't mean getting treatment, we mean getting psychological evaluations for 18 months. Then, on top of that, if you suffer from anxiety, depression, or you happen to be anywhere on the autism spectrum, you can't have gender-affirming care. This is on top of banning all gender-affirming care for anyone under the age of 18, thus creating depressed transgender people, thus banning them from getting transgender care, regardless of what caused their depression or caused their anxiety. Believe it or not, people, not being able to get the treatment you need causes depression, causes anxiety. Imagine, right? Imagine if you had a health need, something that was just dire to you, and they said, no, you can't have it because you're depressed. They go on to say, well, we know you're depressed because of this ailment. And sure, we have a way to help you, but you can't have it because you're depressed. How does that make any freaking sense in this world? I understand mental evaluations for children, right? I think the way the American Pediatric Society has worked that is proper, right? To where you're supposed to have years of that, especially as a youth, because you don't want to make a mistake with a kid. But me, as an adult, as a free adult in America, I should be able to walk into a doctor's office, and if the doctor agrees that I need gender-affirming care, that they should be able to provide it. End of story. No, I don't support any of the stuff that they're doing. I don't support the idea of banning puberty blockers for children that need them. But even as kids, doesn't usually happen. For some, not all. But as an adult, there should not be these blocks to us being able to get gender-affirming care. And this sack of crap thinks it's okay to just sit there and dictate what we can and can't have as adults when it comes to our health care. There are some things we could discuss here. Whether or not Medicaid, for example, covers, I can understand that. Okay, if a state doesn't want their Medicaid covering it, then I can't do anything about that. I'm not going to sit there and cry about it, right? I would just go out and try my best to find a way to cover it. Here in Oklahoma, they're going to do some of the similar stuff. I guarantee you very shortly they'll be following suit. But right now they're working on passing a law here in Oklahoma that will ban pharmacies from dispensing HRT to transgender patients that are over the age of 18. You told me this was just to protect the kids. You're not protecting the kids. You're now attacking adults. But if you're in Missouri and you can, get the fuck out. Run. Because they will start doing to you exactly what they're doing to people down in Florida. The state of Florida is already kidnapping parents or kids from their parents that are gender affirming. And they won't be long in Missouri. No, I'm not being alarmist. I'm not making a joke. If you can, get out. You are not safe. Your children are not safe in Missouri. Later this week or next, I'm going to try to make a video showing you the states where it is safe to take your transgender child, or you if you're transgender. But I can tell you, Oklahoma, Missouri, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, the Carolinas, the Dakotas, not safe. Not safe in the least. Basically, if you live in a red state, you're not safe. Because they will either kidnap your children because they're transgender and you're providing them gender affirming care, or though in the end, they're going to end up trying to arrest us for existing. Yesterday, I was in a very dark spot all day because of this kind of stuff. I thought for sure, somewhere in my stupid brain, that we'd never get to the point where they would straight out attack trans adults at the state level. I thought Republicans were about small government. I thought Republicans were about personal freedom. I thought Republicans were about take responsibility for yourself. They're not the party of that. They are fascist dictators, each and every fucking one of them. I'm done playing nice. I'll tell you right now, I am not putting up with this anymore. I don't know what I have to do. But there has to be some way within the law that we can stop this from happening. I don't know what else to do. I heard about this last week, and then on Monday night, I heard about the potential law to ban dispensing HRT to adults here in Oklahoma. It absolutely devastated me. Because I haven't even got to that point yet. I haven't even gotten to a point where I can get HRT because I don't have the money. And they've chased Planned Parenthood out of the state. And it's absolutely repulsive. I'm sitting here talking to a family member this morning where they're sitting there talking about how, well, there wouldn't be such a problem with the trans community if they quit demanding so much. The hell are we demanding? Our existence? Is our existence too much to ask for? Just having the same rights as a cis, straight person? Is that too much to ask? Is being allowed to go to the bathroom in peace? Is that a problem? Being able to get the health care that we want and need to survive? Is that too much to ask? And like I was telling them, we're not asking for anything. We're not demanding anything except to be able to exist. If people want to include us in their books, great. If they don't, great. If a film in Hollywood wants to have an LGBT love story in it, then let them. If they don't want to, great. Nobody is demanding that they do this. Nobody is demanding that Disney had, a lesbian couple in the Lightyear movie. Nobody asked for that. But just the fact that we're being included is a problem for you? What kind of sickos are you people? We're not doing anything to you. Same family members like, oh, well, we don't want women or men in the bathrooms with women or with little girls. What are you talking about? What exactly are they talking about? The majority, almost the entirety of every child molested in a bathroom happened from a straight white male. Cis, straight, white male. I've looked through all sorts of statistics and they can't find hardly any. Now, am I sure there's a bad person somewhere in the trans community? Yes. I can be 100% sure of that because there's bad people everywhere. But most people that hurt children in that manner are cis, white, and straight. Same thing with most mass shootings. 98% of mass shootings are done by cis, straight, white males. And some 99% of the freaking bathroom molestations that have ever existed, which those are relatively low to begin with, have been mostly committed by straight white males. So stop coming at us like we're the problem. You want to start taking care of problems? Go after the Southern Baptist Convention and all their churches, where they had 750 pages. Not 750 pastors, but 750 pages of pastors and staff that had molested children. Go after them, but you're not. Go after the Catholic Church, where they have thousands and thousands of priests that have molested thousands upon thousands of children. Stop coming after us for shit we didn't fucking do. And to my normal viewers, I'm sorry for the language in the video, but I'm absolutely at my wit's end. I've tried and tried with people. I've tried being nice. I've tried being calm. It doesn't work. So we're going to try something new. Because I don't know what else to do. Trans people can't just afford to up and move every time a state decides to ban their existence. I moved to Oklahoma 3 years ago. 3 years ago on the 28th of April. I was so happy to get out of Texas. Because I didn't like the direction things were going there. I wasn't out by any stretch of the imagination at that point. But I knew who I was. And I was terrified of what was coming down. Right, I was terrified. And I was glad to move to Oklahoma. They didn't have any bills coming down the pipe like that. They weren't talking about it. It wasn't a problem. And now Oklahoma is just as fascist as Texas and Florida. And Missouri has now joined the fascist bloc of states in this country. And I'm beyond confused on what to do. Had someone on Facebook today tell me, "Oh, well, just go to Planned Parenthood." That's just it. Planned Parenthood doesn't even exist in Oklahoma anymore. They've closed every single one of their building, either their locations in Oklahoma, because of the ban on abortion, because of undue burdens placed on provide that form places that have provided abortion in the past. They've closed all their locations. There was a place, I think Trust Women's, that did gender affirming care. They just recently opened. They're about to have to close and leave the state of Oklahoma as well. There's another place in Oklahoma City, but there again, it's private insurance only. So people in Oklahoma are going to be up creek. But more pressing right now is this supposed ban going on in Missouri, where an unelected official has decided with his own, because of his own beliefs, that other people's rights don't matter. Honestly, if I could be, I'd want to be in Missouri protesting vehemently, because this is disgusting and wrong. There's no way you can tell me that this is okay. And if you're one of those cis straight people that think, oh, this is great, this is perfect, let me ask you this: what if states started banning your existence, saying you couldn't hold hands with your spouse, saying you couldn't have a picture of your spouse on your desk as a school teacher, that you could never discuss that you have a husband or a wife as a school teacher, or write laws so vague that the simple fact that you were dancing as a straight person was enough to put you in jail? Imagine that. Now that you imagine that, how angry would you be if somebody was trying to ban your very existence? What if you have children and you're straight, but all of a sudden the state decided straight people weren't allowed to have kids anymore because the majority of people that molest children are straight? Would you think that was fair? Would you think that was right? You probably wouldn't. You'd probably be out in the streets protesting in a minute. But because it's not you, you're not going to be upset about it. So, of course, we have to be upset about it. Of course, we have to demand that we get to exist. And if things like this stuff going on in Missouri weren't happening, we wouldn't have to demand our existence, would we? No. No, we wouldn't. We'd be able to exist in a world with everyone else without making any demands at all. As I have said in the past, if you want to have a discussion about someone born male transitioning 30 to 40 years old to female, and then joining MMA and boxing and stuff, we can have that discussion. But banning little kids from playing sports on the team of which they identify as, really? When I was a kid, this wasn't a thing. Nobody's asking you to ruin women's sports. In the US, there's been absolutely one case that's been brought up about transgender people affecting somebody's ability as a youth to be able to get scholarships or anything like that. And it turned out that they were lying and they didn't really have any ill effects because they weren't even that good. They weren't good enough to get a scholarship, regardless if the trans person was on their team. Because I guarantee you, colleges are going to look at that too, right? Say you're on a cross country team and somebody that happens to have been born a male has transitioned and they're in your high school. Do you think when a scout comes to see you run cross country, they're not going to take into account who you're running against? Do you really believe that if you came in second place, you're not going to get a scholarship in cross country? I've known people that ran cross country that got scholarships and they never finished in the top one or two. What you're trying to say by that, though, is that girls are inherently not as good as men or boys. That's what you're trying to say. But the fact is, most transgender youth are not going to have any effect on the competitive nature of high school sports. I really don't see the problem. But I am absolutely disgusted by this country, and I'm ready to get the hell out of here. I weirdly wish I could get out of Oklahoma. I moved here because I've always loved Oklahoma. The history, being able to, if I had the ability to talk to, First Nations peoples here in Oklahoma. It was one of my goals when I moved here in 2020. Right? My love of weather. And if you love tracking weather, Oklahoma's the place for you. But sadly, it looks like I'm going to have to find another place. And I don't have the money for it. So if you start seeing a GoFundMe page pop up in the upcoming weeks on my videos, you'll know why. I don't know. I've been doing my best to get videos out. I'm probably going to take the rest of this week off of getting any videos done because I just can't. It's all bad news, and y'all don't deserve to see me this upset all the time. But to those of you that keep watching my videos, thank you. To those of you that have been supportive of my transition, thank you. And to those of you that are trans, just keep swimming.